Well, if you look around, it's a pretty awesome view here, and this happens to be from our backyard.
And I still can't believe it. We've been here for about a month.
Yep.
And we have just been remodeling it, doing a lot of yard work.
Yeah, so basically we had a opportunity to get out of the RV and move back into a house, and well, let's just say we were very excited to get out of the RV.
We are.
Yeah.
And today, we wanted to tell you why.
Yeah. So we're going to go through 7 reasons of why we quit full-time RVing.
I think we can both agree that probably the worst thing about RVing for us was the lack of privacy.
Yeah, that was one of the major reasons we really hated RVing. You end up in RV parks, kind of the way we had to do it. And in RV parks, almost all of them, you're right next to your neighbor.
Yeah, I feel like I knew what every single one of my neighbors were doing. And that means that they likely knew everything we were doing.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking, you're eating dinner at your dining room table, and then you're kind of eating dinner with everybody else in the RV park. So,
and
yeah.
You know what? Also, you go around and you have to walk the dog. You have to be out of the trailer from time to time. So you're going to run into people. Yeah. And sometimes it's great to chat them up. I mean, maybe that day you have a little more time than others, and it's okay to stop and have a conversation.
Right.
But sometimes you just want to go around the park. You don't necessarily want to talk to anybody, but you do not have that privacy.
None. It doesn't exist. Yeah, it was very annoying to kind of always be in that on mode where you're always kind of having to talk or chat or something, and just simple thing, trying to take the dog out for 5 minutes, and
it turns into a whole thing.
So that was tough, and we like to sit outside and kind of enjoy privacy at the end of the day too, and you just can't do that. There's no outdoor space.
Or the hot tub whenever we were in Utah.
Right.
I mean, you want to go enjoy it, but you're almost forced into a conversation every single time because there's other people using it.
And I generally think we're pretty extroverted people, but
that's true.
But
it's just those days that you don't want it.
Yeah.
You don't get it.
Yeah, it's true. So that was definitely one of the reasons we had to quit.
Yep. All right, what's number 2?
What is number 2? So number 2 is internet, which, it sounds kind of initially, maybe it sounds a little weird, but honestly, it was a real problem for us because we're trying to do all these things with real estate, rental properties, grad school, manage a startup, and not having reliable internet was really a huge issue.
Oh, it was a massive problem. I remember when we had to go to the coffee shops for internet.
It takes so much time out of your day.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the internet, having a reliable source, it's so much better now that we're in the house.
It is. It's really important. And honestly, we had to even change cell, providers because this T-Mobile didn't work in one place at all, but Verizon did. So we had to switch to Verizon, which we've been with Verizon before, so it was like we're switching back. It was a whole thing,
However, it did have its perks.
That's true. Yeah.
If you want to, switch providers, they might just pay you to do it.
Yeah, they give you, it's kind of ridiculous the incentives they have because they're having like a business war right now.
Right.
So it's pretty interesting.
But the internet was a pain.
Real pain. So that was definitely a real issue for us.
Well, the third reason we quit full-time RVing was having a dog. We got Bud on day 1 moving into the RV. And since day 1 of the RV, every single time we've taken Bud outside, we've had to have him on a leash.
Yeah, and it's honestly really good training, and it was really good exposure for him as a dog because constant exposure to people, other dogs, on the leash. We did laps around the RV park every day. So
he's one of the most social dogs I've ever met.
He's so social. He's so friendly with all people, and he's a golden retriever, but he's a really great dog. And I think that that consistency we had with him when he was younger, but it was still nonetheless such a nightmare.
So you're always on a
snow
leash.
in Utah. Holy shit.
Oh, training a dog in an RV in the winter was awful.
Horrible.
Because you have to wake up at 2 a.m. when they have to go outside, and you're on a leash. You can't really just let them out in the backyard.
Yeah, so you have on a leash, you have to walk around, you go pick it up at 2 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah, you have to have dog bags.
Oh, it's constant supply.
24/7.
And it was exhausting. It was just exhausting. No one wants to go outside in those conditions.
And he's too big.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Even as a puppy.
He took up so much space. Luckily, for the last couple of months, we had him out of the crate.
Yeah.
So that took up a little less room. But dogs take up so much room.
So much room.
So that was another reason we wanted to get out of the RV.
Yep. So the fourth reason that we really didn't like full-time RVing was the entire reservation process. And, you know, maybe it's a pandemic thing, but a ton of people RV and a lot of people full-time RV now. So when we wanted to book our stay, it was back in January of this year. We were having to book for January of next year, all the way out.
Yeah, there weren't reservations available anywhere. And I remember in January, we were looking in West Virginia for September,
Yep.
and it was already booked.
So no available at all. No sites available at all.
Yeah. So you had to book almost a year in advance. And that's the exact opposite of why we wanted to do this. We wanted to go camping. We wanted the flexibility and freedom to go wherever we wanted, whenever we wanted.
Yeah, the whole camping experience and just kind of, you know, just nomadic life around, you know, and just like we really wanted that freedom to be like, you know what, let's just go to Alaska tomorrow. But there was none of that. We had to plan and plot out everything, and it took away all that kind of fun that we were looking for.
And before you say just boondocks, like all of the places in BLM, at least around here, are almost always taken. So there's an extra stress if you were to just try and boondock somewhere right now.
Could you find a place where you could fit with your truck? I mean, because maybe with a small trailer, but when you have a 30-foot living in it full time, it's not like, you know, boondocking is that easy.
Right. And we needed internet.
And you got to have internet, and you got to have reliability. And we also didn't want to have, we're so busy. Like if we weren't so busy doing all the things that we do, maybe we wouldn't mind going into town every few days to dump our tanks, but we don't want to do that every few days.
Yeah.
We have other priorities right now.
Exactly.
So,
speaking of which, our fifth reason that we quit full-time RVing was because it just takes too much time.
So much time.
So
yeah.
At first, when you move into the RV, you have to learn how to RV. You have to learn what a black tank is. You have to learn how to keep your pipes from freezing in the winter.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to do all these RV things.
Don't start in the winter.
Seriously.
Bad time choice.
I don't advise that at all.
Yeah.
That's what we did, and it was cold and brutal and way too much to try and learn at one time. And then another piece of time, maintenance.
Constant. I mean, we're talking every day for at least a few months in the Forest River RVs that we had. It was like constantly leaking, doing, like I was going to Home Depot, like going to hardware stores fixing our RV. It's brand new, under warranty, but you like when it's your house, it's not that simple.
Right.
Like it was like it was like working on a house, but I was working on an RV, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then
so there were maintenance problems.
Yeah, constant.
And that took so much time. Another thing that took time was researching the RV parks.
Yeah.
We had to research where the RV parks were. We had to research where like vets were for our dog.
Yep.
We had to research our own dentists, doctors, like hairstylists. It takes time to figure out where all of these people are when you don't have a home base.
And then you'll move a month later and then have to start that process all over again. You know?
So
and
it was time consuming.
It was time consuming.
That's why I love that we're here in Colorado now and we can find all those people and those places and we can just stick with them. And all of a sudden that time is now available to us.
Yeah, and it's something about just having that consistent life, at least at where we are right now, is super important because it really is going to help us establish our other businesses and ventures that we have going.
Yeah, stable internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So the sixth thing is kind of what we were just talking about is the constant maintenance. It breaks constantly. I mean, you know, we had a whole video on it. Literally our first day in our travel trailer, the black tank was leaking everywhere. And we had no idea about any of the world, and we had to get a mobile mechanic out there who then made the damage even worse, but then charged us money, and that wasn't under warranty. But then Forest River did
a whole thing
with us.
It was a whole thing.
So it was like that experience really started us off, and then from there on, that wasn't it. I mean, it was constant pipes freezing, even though we had our air skirts. It was horrible.
We Had to do the seal around the sinks and the tub.
Mm-hmm.
All is well.
Yeah.
I expect that.
Sure.
Let me do seals around the tub. I expect
Sure.
to buy the grease for the axles. I expect to
You know,
put stuff on the roof.
You know it requires some maintenance.
It requires some maintenance.
Yeah.
But I'm not expecting the pipes to be breaking, thermostats not working.
Yeah.
Like,
lights don't work.
I don't expect that.
None of it. Yeah, it's really
But you
tough.
have to deal with it. So you're going in for service.
You do. So it's like, okay, and that's a real issue. So that was a big thing. And even when you live in a house, and we're working on a house right now, it does require a lot of work. It's when you add all these things together, it really is a lot of stress, and it really took the fun out of the experience.
We expected that this was going to be a very cost savings experience and
Right.
adventure. We thought we were going to basically just be paying for an RV park
Mm-hmm.
instead of our mortgage, and therefore it was going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, we threw in a couple other variables at first, but really when you think about it, we had to buy a brand new truck for this.
Yeah. Yeah, truck payment, trailer payment.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the, RV parks now, which have just prices have gone through the roof to where it's like, what are we doing? This is just this makes no sense. I mean,
Yeah. and
thousands of dollars a month, plus electric. It's ridiculous.
What about all the accessories?
All the accessories are constantly, you're buying these things all the time, fluids and accessories and
Yeah, when you wanted to go winter RVing, again, don't do it on your
Yeah.
first time
start
full
there.
timing.
Right.
But when you winter, you have to go buy all kinds of other things. So
Yeah.
it was just so much
it
more
was a lot.
than we expected.
It was. And, insurance is more expensive too. You have to get a mailing service. It just eventually became so much. And then honestly, we're just carrying so much because we do all these things and we weren't going to give up those things. So,
Right.
it became, and then we had this other opportunity. And so we kind of decided to, these 7 reasons we just went through were pretty horrible. Like it was
It was just one thing after another.
it wasn't fun anymore, and it never really got fun for us.
Right.
Unfortunately, I wish that I could say that it was this amazing experience, but it just wasn't for us.
No. Maybe if we would have went off grid, but there were many reasons that we explained in the video why we just couldn't go off grid.
Couldn't do it, and I think it's more than even going off grid. It's just with all the things we have going on in our life and having no consistency.
Oh yeah.
Is really difficult.
We love being here and having an office again. We're able to start these videos again.
Yeah.
Which really we didn't in the trailer as much because it became pretty difficult.
We just couldn't do it. So, yeah, I mean, we're back. We got an amazing backyard now.
Yes. Welcome
and
to Colorado.
It's pretty amazing. So we're definitely going to keep doing videos. We're not sure exactly where it's going yet, but we have a lot of RV stuff. We still have the RV. We're excited for that future, which is going to be quite a bit different than what it has been for us here the past 7 months.
Yeah. And if you stay tuned, we should have a video coming up about what we're doing now. Hey everyone, thanks for watching our video.
Back in April 2020, we started our own business, GNAR Outdoors.
The company is founded to bring a ski rack for truck beds to market.
And we hope to get the word out through our YouTube channel and other social media platforms.
Our rack is fully designed in our 3D CAD system that the engineers have worked so hard on, and we have finally made it to the prototyping stage.
So we're going to continue updating everybody on our production design life cycle as we go through that. And if you'll just continue to follow along, like videos, comments, and all that stuff, we really appreciate it.
The number one way that you could support us is by subscribing to our channel.
So thanks for the subscribe, and we'll see you guys later.
Thanks.